Welcome to Club Soda's Mindful Drinking Festival. We're online, global, and as always, absolutely free. Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm one of the co-founders of Club Soda.
And I'm Laura, the other co-founder of Club Soda. We help you change your drinking in ways that help you live well. So whether you're looking to cut down, stop for a bit, or quit, you can find what you need from podcasts and books and courses on joinclubsoda.com. This festival, we've brought you an amazing lineup from over 100 people from across the world.
And our programme this time really is global.
Every day starts down under with me, Sarah. As well as organising the festival in Australia, I spend my time looking for alcohol-free alternatives and tips for people who choose not to drink, but who still want to live a social, fun and adventurous life.
And I'll be wrapping up each day here in the States. I'm Amanda, your US festival host and coordinator, and I'm also a mindset coach who helps women change their relationship with alcohol so that they can start living their most authentic life.
Each day with a rolling programme of inspirational panels, conversations, social events, and opportunities to discover new low and no alcohol drinks.
So whether you want inspiration to change your drinking,
Or to connect with other people,
or you want to discover and enjoy a new low and no alcohol drink,
The Mindful Drinking Festival is for you.
cheers!
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 cheers.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's session as part of the Mindful Drinking Festival on discovering low and no alcohol spirits. I'm Zanna, I'm going to be leading today's session. I'm the founder of Drink Bright. I will come on to that in a little bit. So as part of today's session, we're going to be covering a range of different low and no alcohol spirits, predominantly alcohol free. We're going to be talking about some of the different options available, what they can offer you depending on what you're looking for in your drinking, what kind of back you're drinking. And we're going to be looking a little bit as well at how to mix them into some simple drinks and some slightly more kind of fancy cocktails as well. So as I said, I'm Zanna, I'm founder of Drink Bright. We've been running for a couple of months. And I founded Drink Bright with a mission to kind of reimagine drinking. So through looking at my own drinking habits, I wanted to create a space that made alcohol-free and low alcohol options a little bit more exciting. So that's kind of our aim. You can find us at Drink Bright on Instagram. There's lots of drinks options available, recipes. We're building up our website all the time as well with kind of more information about categories, different styles of drinks, terminology, all those things that kind of make exploring that space a little bit easier. So prior to that, I also had over 10 years experience in the drinks industry. So I've managed cocktail bars, been a mixologist, run craft beer pubs, all those good things. So I've got quite a wealth of experience in those areas. So I'm hoping to bring that and take you through some of these amazing drinks today. So no and low spirits. I'm going to start off with the Sea Arch. So this is one of my all-time favourites that's available on the market at the moment. This is an alcohol-free spirit, and it was founded by Sarah and Jeff down in Devon. And they've really brought the kind of story of where they're from in Torquay to the ingredients they put in the bottle. So you're getting some real kind of coastal botanicals in there. They really kind of, I think, paint a picture with that story. Through the bottle as well as beautiful kind of artwork about the coast and kind of really what's inspired that drink. So I'm just going to start out by pouring 50 ml of the Sea Arch. And this is part of their kind of classic sea and tea recipe. So the idea being that Sea Arch is a really great substitute if you're starting to look into your drinking and you want to cut back, and maybe, as a lot of people are big gin fans, so it's a real like kind of botanical lead. You've got a lot of juniper in there, you've got some citrus coming through as well. There's some slight fragrance from more exotic kind of botanicals like cardamom. But what I love about Sea Arch as well is that it's got something a little bit different. So you're getting some kind of savoury notes from sea kelp. You've got some samphire in there as well. So it's just providing like a lot of flavours. It makes the drink really, really versatile. So we're going to be pairing it today actually just with the classic that I'm sure many people will know. We've just got a Fever Tree Light Tonic. And the good thing about the light is that obviously if you're interested in kind of calorie count, or you're looking to lose a little bit of weight through cutting down the drinking as well, that's good. But also for me, if you're mixing it with botanical spirits, because it's that little bit lighter, it's a little bit crisper, it's just going to let the spirit really shine through. So we've got 50 ml of the sea urchin here. We're just going to top it with the light tonic. Super easy. I'm sure I don't need to show you guys how you're going to pour a tonic over kind of an alcohol-free spirit, but there it is. And I've garnished this with just some grapefruit and also some samphire, just as a nod to kind of the botanicals that we've got in the bottle. The grapefruit really kind of cuts through and brings out the citrus in the spirit. Like I said, it's super versatile, so I just wanted to kind of highlight that. And then we've got the samphire as well. It's just going to focus on those savoury notes. It's going to kind of, it makes it a little bit more palatable, a little bit more sessionable for me than some of the sweeter drinks, which again is why it's really great. It holds up wonderfully against the tonic. And it's just going to make a really nice kind of end of the day drink, which I think is something that's really important if you're starting out and looking at moderating your drinking, because fundamentally, if you're looking at changing that at all, we grew up in such a kind of alcohol-centric world, and if you're looking at changing that, it's hard work. So what I want to kind of bring through this session and focusing on these drinks, it might seem like small touches, but focusing on things like making sure you've got some nice glassware, putting some kind of garnishes and botanicals in there that are going to make it feel like a little bit more of an occasion. I think that's super important. And if you can have a drink that you say, I'm going to finish my day and I'm going to have one of these, it's really just going to make you feel like you're having something a little bit more special. And fundamentally, you can't get this if you want alcohol. So you can have one of these, sit down and enjoy the end of your day, and it's going to give you something a little bit more special to look forward to without necessarily needing the alcohol in it. But if we taste this with the grapefruit and the samphire, you're really getting that on the nose. You're getting like a little bit of the saltiness, which I think again paints a really nice picture of the kind of coastal background of the drink. And it just holds up so well against the tonic. You've got the cardamom coming through, which is giving it a kind of nice kind of fragrance. It really it's got a nice long flavour, but it's still super fresh and clean. So that is the sea arch, and that's why I wanted to start off with that one. It's a great alternative if you're looking to even just have something that's going to maybe break up your drinking. I know a lot of people now are kind of, as I do, in fact, are saying, well, okay, I'm not quite sure that I'm ready for alcohol free, but maybe I want to alternate either on nights out, when I'm at home. Maybe I just want to kind of have a little bit more of a chilled evening. You can have a bottle of something like this. It's great to cool on, but also if you're totally alcohol free and you've been in sobriety a little while, it's just such a great go-to. You can try and mix it with all sorts of different things. It's going to work really, really well. So that is the sea arch. They've got a promotion running, which I think is running down the bottom of your screen as we speak for the festival. So you can get 20% off using the code. And yeah, it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. So that is the sea arch. So we're going to come on to a kind of comparable product in the sense that it's another spirit that is leaning towards the gin category. In fact, it is called the clean gin. This one is a low alcohol. So when we talk about low and no, generally, obviously, we're talking about alcohol free and then anything that's low alcohol. So that's generally kind of, certainly in the UK, your low alcohol is 1.2% and below. So Clean Gin and the Clean Liquor Company, all of their spirits are distilled and brought down to 1.2. So if you're somebody that is totally alcohol free, or you don't kind of want any inclusion of alcohol at all in your drinks, this isn't perhaps for you. However, if you're looking for something that psychologically, again, you're maybe like just looking to cut down your drinking a little bit, that's going to offer something that you might say, all right, it's really, really low. I should add though, when you get this into a drink, it's gonna change the ABV again. So this is something that sometimes confuses a lot of people. It confused me for a very long time. This is a 1.2% product, but we're gonna mix that. I'll come on to the drink in a minute. We're gonna mix it again with a different tonic. And when you mix that, you've still got the 1.2 in there. I'm sorry if I'm stating the obvious, but I know for some people it causes a little bit of confusion. So when you lengthen that, you've still got the 1.2 in there, but the whole drink itself is not going to be 1.2. So depending on how much you're going to mix that with, I think Clean Gin or the Clean Liquor Company, say that it's going to bring it down to about 0.25. We're going to make a little bit of a shorter drink, so it might be slightly higher, but it is certainly going to lower that ABV for you. So the drink that we're working with today is their elderflower, which I chose because it's a classic kind of British summertime flavour. We're going to be doing it with some cucumber and lemon. So again, super clean, super fresh. As part of their range, they do also have just a regular gin. I say regular, because I'm sure the best of the low alcohol gins. And they also have a clean rum, and then they have 2 additional flavoured gins. So they've got their rhubarb and their raspberry. So they're really kind of like starting to make themselves known in the market for the low alcohol kind of alternatives. 1.2, very, very low. So if you're looking for something that's barely got anything in it, again, when you lengthen it, it's going to bring it down even lower. So the elderflower is coming out a little bit sweeter than, say, the sea arch. What having that low alcohol content in there is going to do for the drink is it's going to fortify it a tiny bit. So you've got a little bit more of a mouthfeel. It's going to like hold up really well as well in the drink. So we're just going to go in again with another 50 ml. And again, because it's a gin, you're still getting like quite a lot of the sort of floral, fragrant botanicals that you would expect from a typical, say, London Dry. But this one, because it's a flavoured gin, I'm sure you've seen the alcohol market is swamped. You cannot move for flavoured gins. So it's kind of like a move that I guess the Clean Liquor Company has made to kind of replicate that, but in a more mindful way. So it's a little bit sweeter, but we're going to actually be mixing it with some, this looks like I'm sponsored by Food Tree, I'm not. We're mixing it with a cucumber tonic. So what that's going to do is cut through a little bit of that sweetness, but it's going to like balance it out really nicely. So again, we're just going to top that. And I just want to point out again, I know this isn't strictly tasting, but for me, this is all part of like an important process if you're looking to moderate your drinking and start to explore these drinks. Is you can achieve really simple, I don't know how well you can see that, but like I've just garnished it with some cucumber ribbon and just a little lemon wheel, and it's super, super easy to do. It's stuff you've already probably got in your fridge. Gone for a nice glass that was really cheap, but it looks pretty. And the reason that I think that's important is, again, for me personally, when I was coming into more of a mindful drinking headspace, I think we kind of have this underlying sensation that drinking alcohol is where the excitement is at, is where we kind of should be focusing our attention. It's where the only exciting drinks are. And for so long, the low alcohol space has kind of really struggled to keep up with that, And I think let's take a bit of pride in our drinks. You don't have to do anything complicated to be able to do this at home. I've just done a real couple simple cucumber ribbons, a lemon wheel, and I think it looks so pretty. It looks really summery. Taste-wise, on the nose, we are thinking a bit of that cucumber, obviously, because we've got fresh in the glass. But the elderflower in this, because of that sweetness and because of the slight fortification of the alcohol in that, really holding up well, works beautifully against the citrus. So you're just going to get a lovely, clean, fresh summer drink out of this. So I was saying both of these drinks, regardless of their ABV, they're going to work really well with kind of lots of different combinations of tonics, sodas, that sort of thing. I will caveat that again with saying, if you're looking to moderate or change your drinking, mix it with whatever the hell you want and whatever the hell works for you, because there is nothing worse than trying to make some positive change and feel like you've got to kind of fit in or do the kind of recipes that you're being told. I want to do this to give you guys some ideas, but also stress that it's really, really important. If you're going to buy a bottle of something, you're spending a lot of money on it, don't feel like there's only one way to do that. This is about trying out those flavors. Think about what pairings would naturally make sense to you, whether it be things that you've seen on food menus. You might get inspiration from menus that you've seen out and about in restaurants and pubs and bars, things you see on TV, at demos like this, and just have a play around, because as well as making these things kind of exciting and engaging, we want to make them fun, and I think if you can get that out of changing your drinking as well, and kind of enjoy kind of experimenting and getting kind of messy up in the kitchen, that's going to make it a lot more enjoyable, and you're going to enjoy the drinking all the more at the end of it. So that is the Clean Liquor. I say do check out their other options. They've got the gin, the rum, and 2 other flavoured gins as well. So that was those. So we're going to come on now to Another one of my favourites, this is going to be like Groundhog Day for you, because I'm going to keep telling you that they're all my favourites. That's because they're genuinely amazing. Sounded so disingenuous, but I promise you that's how I feel. So this one is Everleaf. This is actually probably one of the first alcohol-free alternative spirits that I found when I was both managing bars and also when I was kind of starting to change my drinking. First of all, you're not going to miss it. It's an incredible colour. It's all natural colourings. The label to match is going to stand out on your shelf. People are going to wonder what it is. And again, super playing into that, you cannot get this if you're drinking. And it should be a competition, but it's always nice to feel like we're kind of hitting people on a par, you know. This is incredible. I believe it was founded by a guy called Paul Matthew, who formerly was a conservation, I'm going to get this right, she says, looking at her notes, conservation biologist. He's got a long kind of history in his family of being involved with botany and biology, things like that. And he's also a bartender. So he wanted to find a way to kind of marry those two experiences. And he has really gone and done so pretty well. So Everleaf is a mixture of 18 different botanicals. I'm going to take a side step at this point and say, often people coming into the space as well always say, oh, some of these bottles, you know, they're a little bit more expensive than I anticipated. I'm going to say, well, we're maybe looking at, say, around £18 for something like a bottle like this. That's £1 per botanical. And they're all ethically sourced, responsibly kind of, you know, brought over to the UK. That works with some really amazing initiatives to make sure everyone's getting fair wages. It's all sustainable environmentally. So when people talk about pricing in Low and No, I just think it's important to remember that the craftsmanship that's going into all the products we're talking about today is absolutely on a level with the best alcoholic spirits that you're going to get, and that's what you're paying for. None of us, well, maybe like partly the attraction of cutting back drinking might be saving a few pennies, but I think really none of us are doing this fundamentally and primarily or solely for saving the money. And if you're doing this and you want to make it an easy journey for yourself, invest in like changing the way that you're going to feel, the way that you're drinking. And something like this is an incredible place to start. Now, I'm just going to come on to talk about the flavour of this. Let's go open armour. Here we go. There's a real scary moment. Now, the flavours in this are, when I say they're not like anything else, they are not. You've got some super exotic and unusual botanicals in here, premium botanicals too. So we've got saffron, we've got Madagascar and vanilla. The saffron is obviously where the colour is coming from. And again, I just want to touch on the fact that if you're coming into the Low and No space, maybe you go to the supermarket or maybe you look online. Actually, at the moment for spirits, you're probably not going to recognise, if you've got no experience of those brands, you might not recognise a lot of them on the shelves. A lot of the kind of the more major producers haven't yet kind of segued into the Low and No categories. So I understand why that can be a little confusing, a little daunting, but I would say try and view it as the opposite. Like, there's a reason the phrase sober curious is so wonderful, and I think that is a really great opportunity for people to take the fact that these products are different and unique and really run with that and explore them and be excited about them. So this is just hands down one of the best examples of that. It is like nothing I've ever tasted, and that is all to its credit. It's super well balanced. You've got, I say, 18 different botanicals in there. It's not going to taste like anything else you've had. Style-wise, it's a non-alcoholic aperitif. So if you had to really grapple to reach something that was similar to, you're talking along the lines of other similar aperitifs would be in the alcohol category, like Aperol, Campari. It is not like that. It is a similar style, but flavour-wise, like I say, you're getting a lot of vanilla. You're getting some kind of tropical fruit in there, a little bit of citrus. Really fragrant, really aromatic. It's also worth noting that with this, Paul has also used an ingredient called voodoo lily, which just adds like a really silky, kind of slightly thicker mouthfeel, similar to what we've spoken about with the 1.2 in the clean liquor. The Voodoo Lily with this, it's almost imperceptible when we talk about mouthfeel, but actually what that's going to do is it just makes it feel a bit fuller, coat your palate a little bit better. It's just making all of those flavours kind of really like work, basically, kind of texture-wise in your mouth. So what we're going to do with the Everleaf, we're going to do actually one of the cocktails that is on Drink Bright, nice plug, and it's the Marigold Spritz. So again, if you still go to bars or pubs, or frankly, even if you don't, I would bet good money that you've heard of kind of spritzes, alcohol spritzes, spritz culture, you know, very like on the terrace sort of vibe. I love a spritz. I think it's a perfect, you know, kind of pre-dinner drink. It's nice. It's kind of indulgent and glamorous. But yeah, it can often be quite boozy. But the good thing about a spritz is that you can really vary those alcohol levels. So an alcoholic spritz, you've got kind of 2 parts alcohol and 1 soda. We're going to do an entirely alcohol-free version today. If you did want to kind of slightly increase the ABV level on your alcohol-free spritz, you can always just put in like a tiny bit of Prosecco or something like that if you were interested in doing that. But today we're just keeping it alcohol-free. So this is the Marigold Spritz. So we're going to go in, that is the wrong side of that. So we're going to go in with 25 ml of the Everleaf. And this is just, I've just pre-iced the glass. We're doing it in, again, just pay attention to your glassware if you can. Doesn't need to cost much money. Get down to some charity shops. It just makes stuff feel like a bit more of an occasion. And we're actually going to return to the Sea Arch. Well, I used this in this drink because when I was developing the Marigold Spritz, I wanted to kind of nod to the very kind of indulgent, luxurious quality that we have when we think about when we think about that kind of Aperol Spritz, kind of street cafe restaurant culture somewhere in, I don't know, before all the madness happened in the world, somewhere in the beautiful Italian hills or something. But I also wanted to acknowledge, you know, the kind of really far-flung nature of what Paul has done with Everleaf, and there's some really complementary flavours in the Sea Arch. So in the Everleaf, we've kind of got the richer, like I say, saffron, vanilla, and we've got some citrus in there. So that's going to be balanced out by kind of the citrus, cardamom, some of those more kind of fragrant flavours in the Sea Arch. So it's 25 ml of each. The recipe is on the Instagram if you guys want to check it out again. I will probably do an update of all of these recipes as well on the Instagram so you guys can follow up. We're going to add to this. This is Kashmiri Tea House. They do cold brew teas inspired by kind of old Himalayan recipes. So they have a saffron elixir. Thematic. So we're going to go in with 75 ml of this, and the colour on this is just beautiful. So just 75 ml of this, and immediately we've just got such a kind of pale golden, I mean, I want to eat it. I don't know about drink it. I want to eat it. And then we're going to add, this is not how I bought this soda water, but I only had a massive bottle and I didn't want it too bulky. So we're going to go in with 50 ml. In fact, I don't know why I'm measuring that up. 50 ml of soda. Out of a super impractical bottle. Great. And soda would be kind of your typical one part of your alcoholic spritz anyway. So you've kind of got your dry, but really kind of rich, complex, dark citrus out of the Everleaf there. You've kind of got the nice subtle fragrance of the Sea Arch coming through, some kind of slightly savoury notes in there as well. And then you've got the richness and the kind of tannins of cold brew tea. It really comes together and works well really beautifully. And we're going to go ahead and garnish this. We're going to complement the coriander that we get in the Sea Arch. I'm just going to pop a little bit in there like that. And this drink is all, just turn it so you guys can see, all about making it really, really festive. So, my manager at a bar I used to work at said, I love a confident garnish. I'm still not quite sure what that means, but a confident garnish. I don't really do small garnishes, you know. And then we're just going to get in here. I've just muddled some, you probably can't see that, but some cardamom pods. So again, that's just a little nod to the ingredients we've got, and we're just going to scatter a few of those. You can lightly crush them, pestle and mortar, something like that. And we are going to add on the top as the final kind of level of indulgence. In here, some little tiny saffron buds. These are not super cheap. You don't need to go in with too many. And if you can see the top, something like that. The idea is it just, on the top, you've just got lots kind of inviting you. You really want to see what's going on in there. I'm going to give it a taste before I pop it down. I love this drink. Yeah, and the flavour, like you're getting the garnish, you're getting the aroma from the garnish. You've got the coriander, so nice and herbal, a little bit citrus. The cardamom's really fragrant. And when you go into the drink, the saffron is like quite a hard flavour to describe, but it's super mellow, but at the same time, like really holds out. And we've got that through the elixir, and we've also got it coming through on the everleaf. The vanilla kind of gives it that little kind of longer flavour, and then the sea arch is there providing a little bit of kind of savoury in the background as well, and with the kind of the floral kind of aroma again of the cardamom on that. So that is the marigold spritz. So we're going to move on now to Lyres. Now, Lyres are sponsoring the Mindful Drinking Festival, along with a few other great producers. So, things to know about Lyres. I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to kind of like rattle through a little bit. Lyres are an Australian brand. They have made a statement in the alcohol-free world. They have not come here to mess around. They have come to say, we are here, we know what we're doing, and here are all of the drinks you could possibly want in alcohol-free format. And they're doing it really, really well. So if, again, what you're looking for with alcohol-free is to replicate drinks or maybe swap stuff out, take a look at Lyres. They've got everything from gins, white rums, dark rums, spice rums, whiskey. We've got absinthe here. I don't know why they've done it, but I love them for doing it. Quite mad, but they've done absinthe. They've got triple sex. They've got, what else have they got? They've got a bunch of aperitifs as well. They've got such a huge range, and it's really, really admirable, because for me it is raising the bar and saying, it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to have alcohol. We can still have the same range, the same quality. Their tagline is impossibly crafted. So yeah, we're going to be working with these. We're actually going to do one of Lyre's recipes. I'm sure it's up there so you can see. And we're going to be making their Sazerac. Now, Sazerac is typically a very boozy cocktail. And what I love about what Lyre's have been doing is they've been taking those drinks and saying, no, we can still do them. It doesn't matter if they don't have booze in, we're still going to make them almost, imperceptibly different. So I'm just going to take the, this is my mixing jug. If you don't have a kind of bar level mixing jug, doesn't matter, get a mixing jug, get a big cup, it doesn't matter. So we are going to be using their American malts. Here we go. Using their American malt. So this is their take on a bourbon. They use really smart names for all of their drinks because of obviously their licensing around what you can and can't call different things. So this is their American malt. I'm just going to pour a little bit for the tasting. So immediately you're getting so much kind of biscuit, caramel, vanilla, like it's so full kind of on the nose. You know exactly what you're going to get. The colour is like a nice kind of deep amber. And again, on the palate, you're getting a little bit of a kick to kind of replicate that sort of burn that you would get with a bourbon. I used to be quite a big bourbon drinker, so I'm gonna say that this is a good one. Yeah, you've got vanilla, you've got caramel, you've got a little bit of kind of dark chocolate, almost kind of slightly bitter in a good way, coffee notes. Like, it's just hitting really a lot of the markers that you want for a good bourbon. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have to finish this because otherwise it will mess up my cocktail. Down the hatch. That's the great thing about AF, right? You can just drink as much of it as you like. So we are going to take our mixing jar, got our spoon ready, and we're going to go in with 60 ml of bourbon. 50 and 60. And typically with a Sazerac, so they kind of vary a lot of the recipes, a lot of the cocktails, origin recipes all over the place. You typically do what they call an absinthe rinse. So you kind of just whip it around the glass. Some people like to leave it, some people like to literally kind of run it around and discard it. There's all sorts of different variations. Lyre's going in, we're just putting it in the drink, which is totally fine. There is no right way for these drinks. As I said earlier, do not let any bartender, professional, whatever. There are a million different stories for a million different drinks. The way that you want to drink it is the right way to drink it. That's the be all and end all for me in drinks of any kind, to be honest. So we have got 60 ml, and then we're going with 15 ml of the absinthe. The absinthe, as I say, is super crazy. I'm not going to spend too long on the flavour of this, but you're really getting the fennel, you're getting some kind of apple-y, kind of really fresh notes in there as well. Yeah, it's fantastic and it's mad, but I love it. Okay, and then we're just going to go in with 10 ml of some sugar syrup. Again, traditionally, you'd maybe use a sugar cube. To be honest, a lot of bartenders now will use sugar syrup in place of that. There's nothing to be snobby about. And we're just going to give that a very quick stir around with ice. So this is just going to give you a much gentler dilution than it would if you were shaking. And we are just going to strain that out into our glass. And this is a super kind of refined, elegant, classic cocktail, all made without booze, which for me is one of the hardest things to do right. Yeah, on the nose you're getting all of that kind of malted caramel that we spoke about before. Oh, that is outrageously good. You're getting kind of just some nice cut through from the absinthe. The fennel kind of aniseedy flavour coming through on the absinthe works really, really well at kind of cutting through those richer, darker flavours. It just gives you something actually really very unique. For garnish on this, we're just going very simple, just going with a little lemon twist. Again, really traditional. So that is something definitely to look for if you just want as classic as it comes, pretty much. It's very similar to kind of your old fashions, less dry than a Manhattan, say. But Lyres have kind of been and gone and done it. Who is to say that just because you're not drinking doesn't mean you can't have a proper drink? And that for me is every bit as tasty and kind of full-bodied as you get using kind of rye or cognac or something like that. So, final drink we are coming on to. Again, just going to pop that down there. We are using, so we've got 3 spirit here, and we've also got Bax Botanics. So I'm going to touch very quickly on both of these so I have enough time to make the drink. So 3 spirit, their tagline is the power of plants. So they have a range of 3 drinks. And again, if you're excited when you get into low and no, which I know can take a little bit of time, but if you're excited by finding things that you cannot get anywhere else, 3 spirit are pretty much as left field as you're going to get in the best possible way. They're using a lot of really traditional active ingredients that were used in kind of ancient ceremonies. There's a lot of really nice kind of mystical storytelling around what they do. So we are using the Livener. This has got ingredients in it that are going to be kind of invigorating and awakening. I don't know the science of how they all work, but I can tell you I've had a few before, and you know, it does kind of perk you up. Nothing kind of illicit or illegal thing going on in these drinks, but They are just kind of, they've got some more focus about their drinks on kind of the natural properties of plants and how they're going to work. The Lyre, flavour-wise, is mentally unusual. It's got kind of this deep berry, watermelon-y flavour going on. You've got ginger in there, you've got heat coming through. It's kind of bittersweet, it's herbal. There's a lot of things going on in this drink. I love it, much like everything else, she says. And we're going to be pairing it with the Wise Botanics. Wise Botanics are based up near York in the UK. And they've got 2 in their range. We've got the sea buckthorn, which we're using today, and they've also got the verbena, which is kind of more of the menthol, kind of fresh herb in the spectrum. The sea buckthorn is, again, quite an unusual flavour. It's more, because of it being kind of a clear spirit to look at, and kind of for recognition purposes, it's going to be more along the lines of something you'll probably have with a tonic or a soda if you just want to get straight up. But this one being sea buckthorn, which is a berry, it grows coastally, so you're getting, again, some quite like bittersweet, tropical flavours coming through on that. And there's some kind of dark Seville orange, there's some herbal qualities, and it dries out really nicely as well, which is why we're using them together in our watermelon martinis. This is the first time that we're making this. I'm going to put it up on the Drink Bright Instagram for you guys to have the details and stuff afterwards. And this one, I will say, is a bit of a showpiece, a bit of a party piece. It's just kind of a last farewell to say, you know, if you want to kind of have some friends round and show people what kind of drinking Mono is all about, this is a great way to do that. So what we're going to do with the watermelon martini is we'll start out with 35 ml of the Lyre now into our shaker. It's already got ice in. I won't recommend on such a hot day icing all your glasses as early as I did, but that's the power of live filming, I guess. And we're going to go in with 15 ml of the sea buckthorn. I want to go fairly easy on this just because it's a really, in the best way possible, like such an intense flavour. You have to be quite careful just to make sure that those 2 in combination balance each other out and don't kind of overpower each other. So we've got 35 of the Lyre now, we've got 15 of the sea buckthorn. And then in here we've got a combination 75 ml watermelon juice. Now, watermelons, you get a lot of watermelon for your money, I will say. So save this one for a party. Wait until you can blitz up a load of watermelon and use all the juice. Otherwise you'll be drinking watermelon juice for years. We've got 75 ml of watermelon juice. We've also got 15 ml of grapefruit juice in here. I'm just going to pop that all in. There's that one. I'm going to grab our martini glass. And I'm going to pop this on. Now, this is where I start to go a little bit edgy, because generally live filming and shaking cocktails doesn't go super well. So give it a smack as hard as I humanly can, and a light shake over in the direction away from you guys. So far, so good. And you don't need to shake it for super long, maybe 10-15 seconds. Give it a little hit. That went pretty much as smoothly as I could have hoped for. Fantastic news. My landlord will be pleased. I don't have martini all over the walls. And we're just going to strain this out. You can fine strain it as well if you want. And that is your drink in true fashion. Of course, I've forgotten the last garnish for this drink. But you can go in with whatever you want. You can go in with a little wedge of watermelon on the side. Kitch it up. Like I say, I love a confident garnish. You need to just ham it up with this one, I think. It is unapologetically full-bodied. I'm going to struggle to drink it now. Yeah, you're getting the watermelon juice, which is keeping it really, really fresh. And that Lyre is so rich, and so is the Wise Botanics. They're both so complex. And what the watermelon is doing is it's kind of stretching that out and giving it a really fresh kind of almost canvas for those flavours to play off. It works so well. You're getting the heat from the Lyre. You're getting kind of that ginger and that warmth coming through the bats, just drying it out a little bit with the sea buckthorn, at the end. So it's not a martini technically, nor a lot of martinis, porn star martini being the famous one. But you'll forgive me for that, I'm sure, in addition to me not having my watermelon wedge. Yeah, it's just such a fun, fruity summer drink. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's going to dry it out the end, so you can drink as many as you like, which you could do anyway because they're alcohol free. And that is all the drinks that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed kind of finding out a little bit more about the category, the range of drinks we've got available, all the different kinds of things you can do with them. What I would say is just, if you're not sure, you can check out actually the Club Soda Guide, which has pretty much all the drinks imaginable in the category available for you to look through. Pick one out, treat yourself, and just have fun and get in the kitchen and have a play around, because that is the best way to figure out what's going to work for you. You can also, as I said before, check out our Instagram at Drink Bright. We've got tons of drinks inspiration, cocktail recipes and stuff like that on there. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to be drinking these for the rest of the day in the sunshine. So I hope you guys have had a really interesting session. Thank you for coming along. Thank you to Club Soda for putting together this mammoth event. And yeah, hopefully catch you guys again very soon. Cheers.